So I've titled this video Healy Lies and Promises because you'll see the amount of lies and promises that have been delivered to me over the last 7 months. From May, when I bought the 3 devices and requested a refund within 3 days due to one of them malfunctioning. And then I also have been requesting my fast start bonus, a resonance. Since May, 7 months of absolute hell. You're about to see the 7 months of what I've gone through condensed into about 20 minutes. So I've had to hand select some conversations and some emails to show you. But if this is what it takes to get through to someone at Healy, and I didn't even get through at the end of the day, all these people who were essentially at the top of the Healy upline, promising me that they were the ones to talk to, they were the ones to get the things done, never delivered. It's now the 26th of December 2020 and I didn't get my refund and I still haven't got the device. I'm not going to get the device, let's be honest. And you're probably not either if you, like me, have been waiting since May. The best that I can do is show you my experience, and I'm not even speaking here about the 2.4 gigahertz which the Healy is emitting, and also a radiation that you cannot turn off if the Healy is on. The 2.4 gigahertz is also on. There is no shortcut through that. I'm not talking about the disarray and the turmoil within the company where some of the executives have been fired unexpectedly and without reason. There's so much to speak to. But for the next 25 minutes, I just want to show you what I've gone through and to say at the end of the day, or at the end of 7 months, I cannot at all give anyone any reason to buy a Healy, even if the device works, which, you know, is questionable. It's FDA cleared, not FDA approved. That just means it has to be similar to a device currently on the market. Healy put through clearance as similar to the Omron 10. So essentially, that's what it is marketed as, and it can't be anything else other than a TENS unit for compliance purposes. But even if it works, do you really want to risk a purchase? I spent $4,000 on one device, over $6,000 or combined, for a company that can't even provide even the most basic customer service. So it's a big fat no for me. I don't endorse, recommend or promote Healy whatsoever. I've been overly generous in my reviews so far. You can see those on my channel. I started off quite enthusiastic and excited to promote Healy. That certainly changed quickly, but I also extended them a bunch of grace, which really, in hindsight, I probably should not have done. But today, at the end of the year, where people have been asking me, has anything changed? The answer from my perspective is a resounding no, it has not. Let's have a look at some of the communications and struggles I have endured since May, and I'll come back to you at the end of this. The extent that I went to over the course of 7 months to try and get a response from Healy. You are not going to believe this, and hopefully this will deter you from going down the path that I did and ultimately deter you from buying a Healy product. So I purchased 3 Healy devices back in May 2020. And you'll see here, the 26th of May, I wrote this email. And it says, "Hello, I would like to request a refund as stated here in your revocation refunds policy. Although I realize you do not require a reason, in their policy it says you don't have to provide a reason, you can just return it. I would still like to provide one. After being super excited about Healy and using it correctly for 2 days, the device started malfunctioning." Now, lots of people have had this situation. Way too many. It was randomly turning on and off mid-program, and if you look in the Facebook groups, this is still happening with devices today. Hundreds of them. Not connecting properly, and after day 3 would only turn on now and then. No apparent reason, as it was charged and I was taking proper care of it. I paid 4,000 Australian dollars for this device, and whilst happy with it for 2 days, I do not expect an item of this value to fail so quickly. Sadly, this causes me to lose faith in the integrity of the product, and as such will be requesting a refund, please. I received the item on the 22nd of May, and I'm writing this on the evening of the 26th of May, within the specified 14 days from receipt of the item. I said I would return the item to the address they asked us to return it to, and I am so glad I didn't. because those that did return it never got a refund. There may be some that did. The people I've been in contact with did not. They waited for months, and I've got evidence of this, many emails that were sent to me of people that did not receive their refunds after sending their device. So not only did they lose the device, they lost their money. So this was sent 2 days after. Now we are 7 months later, and I'm going to take you through some of the communications. Now, I can't spend all the time showing you this because it would literally take days to show you what I went through until today, the 26th of December 2020, and still no response. I won't be able to go through all the emails that were sent because there are literally that many, hundreds of emails. You will see here, this is from my support center straight out of the back office, and you'll see that I did request the refund through the back office and it was closed. I don't know why it was closed, presumably because at one point I did write back to Healy and said to them that the device was working and I wouldn't need the refund. That was after no response from them for several months. But then the intermittent failure of the device continued. So I wrote back saying I would like to still pursue this because I cannot get the device to work consistently. You'll see here not turning on. You'll see here me following up why I didn't get the fast start bonus. So that was if you sold 3 devices, you were allowed an upgrade. For me, because I bought the resonance, I was entitled to a free resonance. However, we are now 7 months later and I can update you and tell you that I never got that resonance. And you'll see in a moment some of the communications and effort I went to in order to follow that up. So that is some of the communication. The rest is responding to emails that I received, and I will show you some of that now. After about 15, maybe 20 follow-ups, I continued to get this auto-generated email from the customer service area. And it basically just says, we're working on your request. We need more time to solve it. So that continued for 3, 4, 5 months. And ultimately, I got nowhere with this. So I continued to follow up. You can see here I wrote that the Healy is malfunctioning after 3 days despite being used properly and cared for as per instructions. It's turning on and off randomly and now it won't turn on at all. Yes, it is charged. I have today sent a clear statement notifying you of my intention to revoke the contract with a request to refund the value of the purchase price. Is there anything else I need to do here? Thank you. Not surprisingly, I didn't get any results from my direct email, and I started to make YouTube videos. So as a result of those YouTube videos, I ruffled some feathers, which was my intention, and I got contacted by some people that suggested they were at the top of the Healy organization. They were distributors, but they had personal assistants appointed to them because they were the very top of the upline. And there's multiple conversations. This is just one. And you will see as this scrolls through the extent of my efforts to try and get heard. Now, these people were all lovely. Anyone I had direct communication with was very nice, very courteous, very gentle, but also very ineffective no matter who I spoke to. And you'll see here there are voice communications, there's so much that went on, but nothing got done consistently, did not get done. Now as this scrolls through, I will stop it at certain places, saying they couldn't find me in the database and that they were going to get their personal assistant to look into it. Kareen was the personal assistant. I pretty much didn't get anything from Kareen other than she verified I was eligible for the free resonance. And one of the things they would say is it's free, so you've got to be patient. It's a gift. Well, it's not a gift, and I mentioned this in other videos. It was earned. We had to sell 3 Healys, bringing in quite a lot of money to the company. So as a result of selling products for them, they would give us what they call the free device. I say it was an earned device. Anyway, this goes on and on and on. and people calling other people out, people blaming other people in the company. You'll see that they mentioned that there was a lot of disarray within the company. People lost their positions, people were called out for non-compliance, people were fined, and then fines were revoked. It just looks like complete schmozzle. I was told in one of these voice messages that people were yelling in the company as a result of my videos. They were very unhappy that I had posted my discontent online. This is still going on. This is just running through one conversation of many. You'll see more voice messages going through, again, all polite. None of this was anything but polite and courteous on both my part and Healy's part. And that's the end of that one. And then the conversations resume with a different person, another person allegedly right up the top of my upline, who also promised some assistance and results. It didn't get anywhere either. None of these communications, despite the extent of them, and you'll see these are long conversations with a lot of promises. Some of this is blacked out, and that's to protect the individuals that were discussed. There was sensitive information exchanged in some of these communications, which, you know, maybe I will reveal soon if nothing is resolved. But I'm certainly keeping all of this, keeping a record of this, and showing you here to give you an idea of the extent one has to go through to get anywhere in healing. So then it went to a third person, Sarah, who was apparently now going to help me, a top leader in the USA who wanted to resolve the issues. Now we're in October. You will see that I told Sarah that I didn't think it was going to be helpful because I've already gone through all these conversations. I've already had personal assistants looking into it for me. I've already had the top people in my upline. Sarah apologized that things weren't going well and said that this would be the last time that I would have to go through it. I told her I've had 100 emails from people explaining their problems were similar to mine, and they also had no response. So Sarah gives me all her qualifications, all her credentials in the company, promised to help. I was reluctant and believed that nothing was going to change, but she seemed nice. Everyone seems nice. So I gave her again my username, all the details that I've provided so many times previously, in anticipation that this time maybe something would get done. Gave her an idea that other people had contacted me about potential lawsuits that may be continuing. She promised to help all these people and said that Healy knows they need to do better. That she apologized for the failure. She sent an email to the CEO for me. Very nice. You can see, again, quite courteous, even though my frustrations had been mounting. I told her all the things that I've already gone through. You can see here that she said that we were getting there and that she was going to take care of the issues. We will work on the 100 emails you have received as well. Please hang in there and trust us. We will not let you down. Stay well and blessed in all things. And unfortunately, this is the tone of all the people in Healy. They are all nice. I don't know if it's genuine or not anymore because nothing gets done. And I think if people were genuine, then you'd see results. Unfortunately, Sarah, despite promising that she could help me, couldn't help me. No surprise there. And so it went to another person called Carl. And the story continues from there. So now poor old Carl reaches out to me with a very nice introductory email. And I responded, "Hello, Carl. I'm not going through my long 6-month story with yet another person in Healy who promises to help and does not deliver. I've been handed from one person to another since June with hundreds of emails, texts and voicemails to memorialize the comments and promises along the way. I have a residence that I requested a refund for because it didn't work. I have a residence I earned that I never got. Stefan promised to help. Stefan promised to help. Karine, then Ryan, then Sarah, now you." And I actually tell them that I'm about to expose all these conversations unless I get the full refund for the purchases I made. I told him that I'm aware there are class actions being discussed in the background, and I'm now ready to assist the TGA with an inquiry. TGA is the Therapeutic Goods Association in Australia, who are looking into Healy and other claims of bioresonance devices that have fallen way short. So this was not meant to be a threatening email, but you can see that I'm getting frustrated at this point. I make it very clear to Carl I would like a full refund, and that's the end of this discussion. But then that did not happen either. Let me show you what came next. So Carl replied, you can now see it's the beginning of December. So this has been going on for 6.5 months at this point. He says, thanks for taking the time to share some of my concerns. He can see that I was frustrated. Yeah, no kidding. And I understand so with the poor standard of service during 2020. Goes on to give a whole bunch of more reasons why this has happened and promises that I will be a priority to sort these things out. Again, a nice tone, very kind, but he's again asking for all the order IDs, ticket numbers. I've done this, as you can see, hundreds of times already. So Carl, unfortunately, got met with a bit more frustration from me. So here is my response to Carl. Hi Carl, thanks for your patient and empathic reply to my otherwise frustrated and unhappy email. It's refreshing to have a Healy rep acknowledge the problems and take ownership of what has been far from a professional or satisfactory management of the company so far. As for my refund request and other communications, I was responding directly from my email and not through the back office. My last response this way was only days ago. So I have all of this as evidence. Basically, Carl was saying he couldn't find all of this. I've already shown you earlier in this video that some of it did go through the back office. Others were directly through responses in emails. I had to go and explain the whole situation again and let him know that I've lodged a complaint with the ACCC in Australia, and I'm aware the TGA, the Therapeutic Goods Association, is investigating the device and its advertising and promotion in our country. You can see I have again asked for a refund because, like so many others, I've had multiple issues with the device, especially in regards to connectivity and program malfunctioning. And that was the reason I initially reached out back in May to customer service. Then it got worked it again, only for this resolve to be temporary and intermittent failing to continue up until the present. I see others have shared this ongoing problem, and I feel this is unacceptable for a device that cost me 4,000 Australian dollars. It should not be hit or miss as to whether it works or not. I would like this resolved. Have we heard this before? So many times, and it's quite upsetting to know after 6 months of non-stop contact attempts, calls from so-called people at the top, Zoom meetings, tickets, YouTube videos and emails, that I've again been passed on to yet another person. It seems I'm saying the same thing on repeat and answering the same questions and being told the same things over and over with no results. Hence the tone of my last email, which really, given what I've shown you, was still quite polite. I've advised the ACCC of the problems, and I've told them I'm seeking a refund as per the original guaranteed policy Healy provided, and I shamefully promoted and sprouted via my YouTube videos. I'm extremely embarrassed that I misled people, and I'm now making up for that by helping people with their problems. If I can't receive a refund, then I've finished repeating my request to everyone in Healy, as it's now just ridiculous, and I will take the next appropriate step of action. So Carl is very kind and patient still, but it just goes on, and I'm not even showing you all the emails. I'm just trying to give you a bit of a recap, a bit of an idea of what I went through to get a return, to get a refund, to get my free resonance, all of which I have not received. I want to bring your attention to something here which says, in regard to the Healy terms and conditions, all customers are entitled to return their purchase for a full refund if requested within 14 days of receiving their order. I did that, and I've proven multiple times that I did that. Yet they did not decide to refund me. So I sent this email back to Carl today, the 26th of December 2020, after 7 months of back and forward, of which you've only seen a snapshot. And it says, "Hi Carl, I've compiled 7 months of back and forward communication with Healy. None of it has got me anywhere. I'm putting this together into a video I plan to release to help others avoid the horrendous and costly error I made. I asked for a refund from the start. Yes, the device started working intermittently, but this is not acceptable for a $4,000 product. I've asked so many times for a refund, including 4 days after my initial purchase, and continually since then. I don't want a complimentary replacement, which is what Carl offered me. I want a refund for the resonance. But since this has not been forthcoming, I guess I am forced to take this complaint further. When you see the hundreds of emails and WhatsApp exchanges I have had since May, you will understand why I have had enough and would caution anyone to refrain from a purchase with this company. Anyway, looks like my ship has run aground and further communication with anyone in this company is futile. Should Healy finally respond to my simple request for a refund, feel free to reconnect. Otherwise, the point has surely become mute by now. And at this point, I'm giving up talking to anyone. But I also want to tell you that there's been a lot of other communication in the background too around compliance. What I've shown you so far was just around trying to get my refund and trying to get my resonance. Let me show you some more things. This was an email I got amongst several others, but this one from Rosa back on the 29th of October 2020. Dear Mrs. Bailey, it's not Mrs. by the way, your videos on YouTube page, Brain and Beyond, where you are accusing our company as a scam, came to our attention recently. Now, before I continue, if you've seen that video, Is Healy a Scam? I was more than generous. I didn't even call them out as a scam. I gave them as much grace as I possibly could. And I didn't say they were a scam, although, quite happy to say I perhaps think that now. Please be assured that Healy World is operating in full compliance with every legal and ethical frame. We believe that you came up to this conclusion from misleading information about our company. Nevertheless, it is your right to have your own opinion, but when you are accusing us wide publicly with such serious false allegations, you understand that the possible damage for our company is quite big. Also, we do not understand why, while accusing our company at the same time, you accept all our bonus payments done to your name. We hope that you will finally see who we really are by visiting our website in order to find only valid information about Healy World. What a joke. Firstly, I didn't accept bonus payments. I have said everywhere, all over my YouTube channel, that I'm not selling this. I'm not taking commissions. I could have sold over 30 devices and chose not to, out of integrity. Not for Healy, out of integrity to my own name. So I did reply to Rosa, and here's my response. Hi Rosa, clearly you haven't watched the video because I said I hesitate to call it a scam, but I don't recommend purchasing from Healy until they address their problems, which they still have not done. I have received many emails from people around the world who feel disappointed, ripped off and abandoned. I don't know what you're talking about, except in money, as I do not sell or distribute Healy, so there's no money to collect. Not sure what you are trying to allege there. Shame you don't take the time to answer mine and others' customer tickets before taking the time to write this email to me, which really has no content or purpose other than to say you disagree with me. Obviously, your members are not compliant. Simple. I have much evidence of false claims by some of your prominent distributors, but I'm not doing this to start a war. Just warn people and provide some truth and honesty, which seems to have been lost along the way. Anyway, you're right. I am entitled to my opinion, and you're entitled to yours. Instead of sending me disapproving emails, I suggest you work on resolving the issues and concerns of customers and perhaps give me a reason to change my mind. So the issue of compliance was raised. So let's talk about that then. Again, I have hundreds of bits of evidence, but I'd like to talk about these kind of comments that one particular person does regularly, who is well known in Healy, but blaming the victim. So anyone that doesn't get results from Healy, apparently it's their fault. It's their problem because their intention is not clear. This was a comment made in response to someone who wasn't getting results. Sounds like you're just testing the validity, so the scans represent your lack of true intention. They disagree. I purchased this device with the utmost faith and excitement because, as stated, I'm a firm believer in frequency medicine and healing. Now that I've used it for a while, I see that it was overrated and way overpriced. Or don't have an opinion like that because you will get reprimanded quite quickly. Oh, and you were. Obviously, not utmost faith. It is the best frequency device on the market, and compared to the $20,000 time waiver, it's a steal at the price. I have over 20 years experience in the field, so I know what I'm talking about. This went on to say that it's their fault, and the client said, "You assume much. I'm using the programs. They do work. What I'm no longer using is the analysis feature." Oh, I can read between the lines. I mean, this sort of stuff in the groups, I take a lot of offense to. I find it really unhelpful and really breaching compliance, actually. We've got here that it's proven that Alzheimer's has been treated using the 40 hertz frequency. That may be the case, but that has nothing to do with saying that Healy's going to cure dementia, which, you know, I've watched and read multiple times. This person's asking about how it will help with cancer. We know that it can't cure cancer, so to suggest that it can is quite erroneous. Using it with dementia, what settings would be used to help with that? You'll see that this person has provided brain scans and suggesting that Healy has been a major source in curing their dementia. Throughout all of these comments, or when I see them online, I respond. And this was my response to someone who had problems with the microcurrents and were getting burned. I actually told them that it appears to be a reaction to the microcurrent. Some people are electrosensitive. There are many contraindications, and people untrained often just tell you to keep using it or tell you to listen to the device. How many times have you seen that? Trust the device. No, listen to your body. Trust yourself. And I would strongly suggest that that person stop using it if they're getting burned. Microcurrents are also sometimes contraindicated with things like asthma, diabetes, epilepsy, pacemakers, pregnancy, electrophobia, cuts, abrasions, open sores, infections, metal implants, metal jewelry, loss of skin sensation, high blood pressure. Furthermore, people asking about using microcurrent with cancer, this bothers me too. Everyone's saying, well, run the analysis or run this app. Well, please know that microcurrents can stimulate cancer cells and promote the growth of cancer cells if not used properly. Healy is great, but it needs to be used sensibly and responsibly, and people without any education in this area should not be giving medical advice. Oh, and comments here about your intention are absurd. Ignore them. Obviously, you have paid money for the Healy and using it with pure intention. Now, you don't have false intention if you're going to hand over $4,000. It really bothers me to read that. I work with GPs, psychiatrists, and I have a doctorate of clinical psychology. I'm working with integrative medicine for the past 8 years. Please listen to what your body is telling you, not anyone here in the groups. Then there have also been many comments from the Healy cult in responding to videos that I've posted where I have put my balanced and fair opinion. Here's an example where I put an announcement why I'm leaving Healy. This says, your message is your right. My right is to call you out for misrepresenting Healy. First, anyone suggesting cures is non-compliant, so the emails you are getting are violations, and those people should be reported. But as you can see, I've just shown you a snapshot. I've also got hundreds of those where people are acting non-compliantly. In the US, we have a compliance officer, plus all the leaders I know are very diligent on that. They may be, but people are still doing this. And this particular person, Steve, says, I'm not an expert, talking to me, he's saying I'm not an expert on FDA compliance, especially since I'm in Australia. If you look at what is published regarding the FDA, you will see what has been approved. Well, I did look, Steve. In fact, I got the actual papers that were submitted to the FDA, and I showed those. You have not built a team. No, I haven't built a team because I won't act without integrity and I won't mislead people. So no, I won't be building a team. And I'm not a team leader. Don't want to be. If you were, you would be connected to those who are working every day to make sure we represent Healy properly. What Steve doesn't know is that I've been working with all those that represent Healy for 7 months, as you've just seen. And then he goes on to say, it's disgusting to listen to you thinking you are accurate in what is going on with Healy globally. happy you are no longer part of this organization. Well, it's okay, I'm happy too. And one more thing, after all this ranting, I find it very interesting that you will be continuing to use your Healy. Because I paid for it, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to profiteer from it. And I use it because I've said multiple times I don't mind the device itself when it works. So that is just a bit of a glimpse of what I've gone through over the last 7 months. Clearly, I'm not going to get anywhere, and it's pointless at this time to waste any more of my time. I have attempted to go into bat for a lot of people, and I've got nowhere. I have tried my hardest, and at this point, all I would suggest is, at least if you're in Australia, you go to the ACCC and lodge a complaint, or speak to the TGA, the Therapeutic Goods Association, if you have any concerns around compliance. It's only when we speak up that we're going to get action. Now, I'm not one to just go in straight away and start complaining. I think you can see that I've been more than reasonable, more than fair, and given Healy ample opportunity to come to the table and provide a solution. Now, this is just not me. This is thousands of people who have had similar experiences. And all the while, Healy continues to promote their device, have sales, have promotions, and make a lot of money. They're circulating all these celebratory emails about how they've sold 100,000 devices, whilst there's still thousands of people dissatisfied. So, end of the day, I cannot endorse or promote this product whatsoever. Energy medicine is something I'm deeply invested in and believe in. Healy is not the only way to do that. There are lots of microcurrent devices on the market, and all it takes is a bit of a search, and you'll find that there are very reputable competitors out there. As far as the analysis, the resonance model is concerned, energy medicine is abundant. It's free. You don't need a device, and I don't even know if the device has been tested and works. It's only FDA cleared, so we don't have any evidence that it works. I've got a video out there about the power of placebo. If you want something bad enough, you're going to believe in it. And if you invest so much money into something, you're going to need it to want to work. So I think there's a lot of false hope out there. And there's also a lot of malicious people who are saying what they need to say to make commissions and to continue to sell. There are a lot of people like myself who stood up and just said no, they refused to sell it under these current circumstances, stood back and gave Healy an opportunity to prove themselves. Unfortunately, time is up. Healy has failed and failed miserably. As of this point onwards, I would like to see some action taken around this company and those people who've lost thousands of dollars, who have devices that don't work or are ineffective or have not received refunds and sadly return their device. I do hope that you stand up now and make an effort to lodge a complaint with the governing bodies in your country. Only through the collective voice will we get some change. For those people who have been grossly disappointed, I sincerely am sorry for your experience. I'm also owning the fact that early on in the piece, if only for a few weeks there, I was promoting Healy, and I regret doing that. Anyway, for now, there's nothing more that can be done. I am closing the book on Healy, and I really urge you to do some investigation before investing in this company. Until next time, the new year, I wish you all happiness, peace, and health. Stay safe, look after yourselves and each other, and I will see you in the new year. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.